Hello, my name is Dr. Bagley. I'd like to thank you very much for joining me today. This is Rising with Dr. Bagley Sr., and that's me. And we do special talking in the subject of psychology. And so today we're going to get into dating. So offline, I have my joining people. They're outside. So after the show, we'll get back into one-on-one. So if you would like to join us in that live recording next time, here's my phone number down here. And you can text me and I'll send you a link and the times that we go online. And here, of course, this is my email. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns about the show that you're about to see, any topics, anything that you would like to talk about, and or all of the above, about when you want to join us for the next topic at hand. So, so today we're talking about dating, everyone. And so in definition, what dating means, the two types of dating, 5 causes and effects, 4 red flags in dating, and success in dating. So today's discussion, these are the 5 subjects. So if anything else, I see everyone over here. If you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll get to you as soon as possible, or text me your questions. That way you won't forget them or anything like that. But for everyone else who is joining us via recording or anything, like I said, please contact me and we'll get you to try to get you on for the next live recordings. Definition, dating. Of course, we're talking about 2 people coming together of a couple to be early stages of relationships where they go out on dates to find out what each other is like, as a prelude to actual being a fully fledged couple. Now, of course, we're talking about 2 people coming together and we're saying this is dating, but I want to define this a little bit more because there is a lot of misunderstanding on dating. What is dating and who is dating and so on and so forth. There are 2 types that I want to bring out when it comes to dating. The first one is you going out to others. So you have A, B, C, and D. You got these guys or girls on your phone, Skyping and all of that, and you're talking to them, ultimately getting to know them. Okay, of course, everyone has different purposes and reasons and motives, but we're talking about this first type. The second type of dating is when you specifically have one person, him or her, or however that works out for you, but it's just you 2 and you're dating and building the relationship for the purpose of togetherness. Hopefully it's in for engagement of a deeper relationship with just you 2. But ultimately, this type of dating is boyfriend, girlfriend, or however that works out. But this is the second type of dating. So the reason I'm bringing this out is you going out, you might have 4 or 5 different people you've been talking to, that all of a sudden you narrowed it down to one, and then you're thinking in your mind, we're dating. Okay, so let's dating. That's just me and you. But in actuality, that other person might say, well, no, not necessarily. I still got other friends. Those friends are what we call he's still or she is still dating. So therefore, they're in that first type, you're in the second type, and when you bring them together, things happen, emotion happen, actions happen, like sexual sex and so on and so forth. And then there's that breakup immediately because one was thinking one thing, like for example, building the relationship, and the other person was thinking another, where you're not the only one. Okay, so 2 types of dating. Let's simply say the 5 causes and effects. So you have 2 types of people, Steve and Linda. So they dated, they've come together, it's just them 2. All right, so from that point, they're still dating, but they're now a couple, boyfriend, girlfriend. So let's see causes and effects, 5 causes and effects within the dating aspect, within the relationship building to see if they are the type of couple that has the ability to go long term. And of course, that is the key, the ability to go past the immediate initiation of the boyfriend, girlfriend. Some of the things I really want you guys to pay attention is building a profile of the person. Very, very basic profile, such as, of course, you know their name. Steve, he's age of 30 years old. His parents is only mother. He was only raised by his mother, has no idea who his father is, and a little bit he knows about his father, he doesn't like. Education, he has a high school diploma, barely graduating high school. He works full time. He's working not in a supervising role. He's just working at a manufacturing, for example. Spirituality, he is not spiritual. On the other hand, Linda, she is 29 years of old. Her parents, she was raised by both of her parents, and they've been married for 35 years. Education, 4-year college. She works full time. She's building her career. And spiritual, yes, she is spiritual. She believes in a higher power, and she goes to church regularly. These are the 5 different things that I really want you guys to start paying attention to when you get from the initial to the building. Now, of course, immediately, so let's say you met someone, text someone, talk to somebody, I don't care if it's online or if you just met someone face to face, it's irrelevant of the meet. The idea that you really want to address these 5 issues is the most important, and that is this: age. Between Steve and Linda, they're in the same age bracket. Okay, age bracket meaning the same type of music, the same type of styles, so everything's pretty much equal. Do not confuse age with maturity, though. Steve, he is a male. He could be in a situation where he acts mature, or he could be in a situation where he is acting like an 18-year-old. So do not assume his age equals maturity. Scientific proven, females are more mature than guys at an earlier age, and 30 is right around the time where males seem to, and of course I'm talking in general terms, seems to act or start to become mature because they start to think about themselves in the future, family, and so on and so forth. Now, again, that's just general. That's not everyone. So when you are talking to the person you're out there, the thing you're looking for, more importantly, is the age and the characteristics behind it, the maturity stage behind it. Parenting. So let's talk about both of them. When a person is raised by one person, there is a missing piece in the social weaving of a relationship. Now, what do I mean by that is this. Steve, for example, was raised by his mother. The little bit of things he knows about his father he doesn't like. So the missing fiber, the missing piece within the social point of view of relationship is he may not know what it means to be a man. He may not know what it means to be a father, and he may not understand the role of being that male figure, if you will. Of course, mom tried her best to raise him as best as she could, but the role of the male role versus the role of the female role, that child developing stage in his stages, it was missing. So therefore, that is the missing link within himself. Let me explain on Linda's side because I think you can understand a little bit better. Because Linda was raised up by both of her parents, she has a clear understanding in her child developing the roles of a mother, for example, a woman, a wife. She has the understanding of this is my role. So when I have a man, a husband, this is what my mother did. So of course, this is probably what she's going to do also. So if she was raised in a family where her mother cooked for her dad because dad worked a lot, she is apt to provide the meal or cooking for her man. And yes, she is working, but she will adapt into that role because that's what she knows from her child developing. Okay. Now, on the other hand, because she had a dad, she also has a knowledge of a role of what a male supposed to be in a relationship. So when she looks for her man for herself, she's also looking for her dad. In content, what it really is she's looking for the role that she's comfortable with. So she's looking for a man that works. If her dad works, she's looking for a man to work. If her dad owns the business and works long, she's okay with that. If her dad worked a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, she's okay with that. And that's what she anticipates. She also understands in her child developing how to handle relationship problems. What did the parents do is probably what she's going to do. And those different things. Now, of course, we can get really, really in depth into that, but like the codependent video I did, but we're not going to get into that. We're just going to stick with the roles of male and female, okay? So when Linda looks at Steve, and I'm only assuming all of this, but when Linda looks at Steve and she sees him working full time, she likes that because that's what her dad did, work full time. So she feels a little attraction towards him because of that. He is an attractive guy, so that genetics and all of the baby point of views and all of that is there. He's working. He's also a high school diploma, but she's okay with that because after all, education, we all know education, the right education gives us the right fundings. So, but the point is, she understands her role. She looks at him and she's assuming he understands his role, a man, a father, a husband. She assumes this. Because, and the reason I say assumes, because in the very beginning of their dating, the questions, the things we need to talk about, she doesn't talk about the child developing aspect of it, and she doesn't address the fact that he may not understand what it means to be a man, a father, a husband. And then when time kicks in, emotions, sex, relationship builds, and then red flags start kicking off, it's a little hard to break up after you start saying, I love you, right? So when you're dating in the very beginning, please be aware of the ages. Please be aware of the child developing questions. What do they do? What do they didn't do? What do they know? What do they don't know? Education. Education, he has a high school diploma. Does he, Linda asks Steve, do you really are satisfied with the high school? Are you going back to school, or are you getting a different type of education? What is it with education? Because education is a continuation. All right, even if you have a PhD, you still have to get a continuation of what's new, what's out there, and grow, and so on and so forth. Likewise, Steve needs to understand Linda has a 4-year college. She has her bachelor's, but do she, and later on in the relationship, will she like to go back to school to get her master's? Those are the things that you really need to talk about. What's our goal? Where are we now? What's our goal for the future? Finances. Finances is a big part in the very beginning that I believe some of you are really paying attention to. Now, what do I mean by that? Linda, let's look at her first. Linda has both of her parents. Both of her parents worked. Mom worked part-time. Dad worked a very good, but the income of the family is around about $500,000 a year. So Linda is comfortable with the knowledge of her parenting and the budget that the parents had. Not to say that that's what she receives, but still the parenting and the management of that finances. She's comfortable in that certain lifestyle, a certain type of house. She may have a house with a pool. She may have a house with 5 or 6 rooms. She may have this comfortable. She may have full food in the cupboards. Went to a private school all the way through. So there's a certain lifestyle that Linda is comfortable with, and she's let's just simply say she's comfortable with. Okay. Steve, on the other hand, if you do not talk about this, you would not know, to a degree, you will not know that Steve was raised by his mother and his mother only made $30,000 a year. You would not know that Steve is not comfortable living poor because even though mom made 30 a year, she still had Steve and 2 other brothers, or sons, I'm sorry. And so Steve really didn't get anything like Linda at all. He also, financially, he's also not used to of that lifestyle. He wants it. He's going to work for it. And this is the covering. This is the blinding aspect in Linda's eyes. If she doesn't go into the finances of his child developing, what he's used to, and his goals behind the finances, she can confuse his hard working for he's a hard worker and he wants a lifestyle like I'm used to, versus he's working hard because he doesn't want to be poor and he wants to spend his money pretending that he's never been poor. And thus, it's on him and not them. You understand? So finances, you have to be very careful within this subject here. Spiritual is another subject. If she, Linda, has been going to Sunday school and going to church on Sundays and all of what she does is there, and Steve has not, that's going to bring some issues in the home once they get closer and closer together. She may forgive him or not even think about it in the very beginning because she's thinking other things, but I promise you it will be an issue when she goes, when they get closer and closer and Steve, gets introduced into the family, okay? All right, so the reason I picked these 5 causes and effects subjects is because these subjects are hard to lie about, right? I know a lot of you are saying, well, when I'm dating, he can lie about the finances, he can lie about that, he can lie about how much money he has now. Okay, there's no question about it. Steve, for example, is working full-time and he might have about $10,000 saved up in the bank. He may have it or he may be lying about it. It's irrelevant. The question at hand is, how was he raised? And then find out his motive of him working. That is your financial questioning at the time. Because if he is just simply trying to work to get clothes and get a nice car or a motorcycle and do his show off, keeping up with the Joneses point of view, if that's his motive behind finances, then that's a conflict when it comes to Linda, who's just knows about her dad working and providing a comfortable lifestyle. Totally different. So these are the causes and effects that I really would like for some of you to really to get into your dating point of view, your questions, and of course we'll go through them, questions of how to question them, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, 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 but you know what I mean. Offline as well as other videos that comes along. But I just wanted just to use Steve and Linda and these 5 causes and effect and these subjects right here, how you can really filter through people lying to you, because they can't lie about who raised them. They can't lie about their age. They typically can't lie about their education. It's hard to lie about finances, especially if I say to, especially if Steve says, or Linda says to Steve, hey, my family's going to Hawaii for a week. Can you come? And Steve can't come because he just spent his money on some shoes and car and clothes. So just different things that can be tested out, but just be aware of these 5 little things here. All right, red flags. 4 red flags that I really want to point out, and of course there's a lot of them, and we're not talking about trauma and abuses and all of those other things. We're just going to keep it very generic, okay? We'll get into details later offline, and if other shows will get more into detail where we talk about dating and more detail about red flags and how to deal with those things. The first thing I really want you guys to understand is the openness of your intent, the motive. What is your motive of dating? If your motive of dating is to find a guy and find someone who you can be with and grow together and marry one day and have kids and live a life together, if that's your motive, and dating is just the starting point of that motive, then I would suggest starting off with that intent in your questionings within your dating. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, for example? Well, in 5 years, I just want to have a business and I just want to have some money in the account and I want to do some traveling. You ain't got to add nothing to that. You ain't got to say nothing behind that, because if your motive is to find a guy and have family and kids and live together and do that role, and this guy says to you, well, I just want to make money and save it and travel, of course, the motive is 2 different motives. Don't force it. Do not force it. That's a red flag, and there's a possibility that you need to run from that. Now, again, I'm not saying you can't compromise it either. I mean, if there's 2 people who really, really, really want to be together, he wants to travel the world and she wants a family, you can compromise. For example, they can get together, have a kid. He might have to wait a year before he travels, but the following year, they can go to Disney World. Take the kid and enjoy themselves. They're traveling, they're doing cruises, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying this is a list of 4 red flags for all in all, but I'm just simply saying to help a lot of you from getting into a relationship to find out that you guys really never have the same desires and you were forcing it to come together. That's what I'm referring to. If you are with someone and it just feels like you're forcing it, maybe you just need to red flag it and call it quits. They're just not for you, okay? Lifestyle, past patterns versus present patterns, okay? Let's say ladies, and I'm talking to ladies in terms of the guys, because that's who's majority on offline. If you find a guy and he says, and I'm giving an example, if he says, all right, I've been, for the last 10 years, all I had was 3 girlfriends and I never cheated on them, but all 3 cheated on me. I worked, I provided, I did everything I possibly could do, and they still cheated on me. If you hear that, then you would think, oh, well, he might be a good guy. Something's wrong with the girls, and maybe I can get with this guy and maybe we can bond together. Well, let's dig a little deeper. What if the guy says, what if the guy worked uh, 60 to 70 hours a week? And it's great in the beginning because he can afford to buy you some bling bling in. He can afford to take you out to some nice restaurants. He can afford to pay you off. But in actuality, emotionally, physically, he is not there. And it's great in the beginning because emotional, I got a man, this is what I got. Okay, whatever. But that will quickly fade away. And desire kicks in like sexual desires, and he is nowhere around because he's working 60 70 hours a week. But you got money, but you don't have him. And no wonder these women cheated on him, because he's nowhere around. Past patterns and his present pattern, if it hasn't changed, then it's going to happen again. The definition, a rough definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. You're not a different result. If this guy has this pattern, you won't be the different result. You're going to get the same result as three other, because that's the pattern. They thought the last one they can fulfill. No. They thought the next one, no. So you won't either. So be mindful. Red flag, if you find a person who does what they did for the last 10 years is exactly what they're doing now, red flagging. However, on the flip side, don't red flag it if he says, all right, for the last 10 years, I had these three girls, they cheated on me, and I realized I know exactly why they cheated on me. I was working 60, 70 hours. I'm now in the process of finding balance. And I know I need to come home regularly. I know I need to cut my hours to 50 to 40 to 50. And I know I need to cut back. That's past pattern, realize, change of present pattern. And then now you're in the picture. That's not a red flag. That's a good thing. So red flag, if it's past pattern, present patterns are the same, it's a good thing. If it's not, if you change, all right. 3, health and well-being. If you like to work out a lot, if you like to go to the gym 5 days a week, if you like to eat healthy, if you like to do all that, then I will highly suggest you also find a guy like that too. The reason is long-term. We're thinking long-term, ladies. It's nice to have a guy who works and is providing, is doing the man-to-man thing. But at the end of the day, what good is it if he's always sick, if you're always being hit on, and insecurities get in play, and you're going to have a mess on your hands sooner than later. Not just the health reason, but we're talking about the social reasons. He's not sexually pleasing you because of health issues, and so on and so forth. So we can really get in depth. So to eliminate all of that, if your health and well-being is not equal to the gentleman that you're dating, it's a red flag. I count it as a red flag. And so keep you from going down a path that you know where that path is leading you. Just get out of that and move on. And the 4th red flag, ladies, is something that's specific to women more so than guys, is the helping point of view. The helping point of view, there's 2 types. There's the togetherness helping, and then there's the singleness helping. So like Steve and Linda, if Steve asks Linda, I need some money to pay my bill, and she helps him by financially helps him pay the bill, and then Linda later on says, hey, I'm going out with the girls. I need a couple of dollars. Could you help me out? And Steve says, yeah, I got you. Here you go. He helps her out. That's helping together. That's what I'm referring to, togetherness. We're helping each other out. It's a red flag, a major red flag, if Steve says, all right, I need a couple of dollars, Linda, and she gives him money. A couple of weeks later, hey, I need some more money. She gives him a couple more, hey, I need, they move in together. Oh, by the way, I just got laid off. He only has a high school diploma. Um, she's still working. She's got her degree. Okay. And she's going to work. Oh, and so he's staying at home. He's not cooking. He's not cleaning. He's not okay. She gets pregnant, and you know what the story is all about, right? Right. So to eliminate all of that time, energy, emotion, finances, all of that, to eliminate all of that in helping, number 4, red flag. If it's a singleness type, if you feel like it is not equal in the helping department, cut it. Saves you a lot of trouble down the line. Okay? Number 5, the success in dating. Success in dating is 2 major reasons of divorce and separation. And we know about the sex and the finances, and sex is the reason why, the majority reason why divorce and separation. However, if you lump up all of divorces and separation, the major 2 is communication and growing and adapting the relationship. What I mean now, communication. A lot of times frustration is built up because you're learning. 2 individuals are trying to merge together to become one. And in doing so, you have to communicate it so frustration doesn't build, and like the soda, the cap comes off and you explode. Communication is telling the truth at all times, regardless of how the other person may or may not feel, but you have to communicate truthfully at all times. If you do that, you can find out if this person really is for you, and if it is, and they really love you, which if they do, they will do the number 2 and adapt and grow with you. So if you are communicating truthfully and he's communicating truthfully, and you guys love each other and you guys are adjusting to each other's emotions and feelings, and you're growing and you need to grow. I want to go to school. I think I need to go to school. All right, let's figure out how we go to school. I want another job. All right, let's figure out how. If you communicate and grow and adapt your relationship, that is the key. These 2 are the key to have a successful relationship. Now, we'll get into more of it later on down the line. So today's topic, of course, is dating. Today's discussion is defining the dating, 2 types of dating, 5 causes and effects, 4 red flags, success in dating. Any questions, comments, or concerns for the audience out there or the recording audience? Please do not hesitate in emailing me with your questions. If you want to learn how to participate in the live recording or the event, please, I'll send you that information and links on how we can do that. Also, my phone number is here if you want to text or call me about your specific situations. I'll be more than happy to help you out. All of this is, of course, is free of charge. I'm just here to give back to you guys. And of course, that's just what we do. So if there's nothing else, thank you very much for watching this program, Rising with Dr. Bagley. Of course, that's me. I'm going to go ahead and cut the recording and go offline, and we're going to talk to all of the other ones, participants.